Today, we dive into yet another insane recovery mission. This time, featuring two reckless guys who turned what should have been a straightforward rescue of a Cat 321BL excavator into a jaw-dropping disaster. What started as a routine job quickly spiraled into pure chaos, testing both man and machine. With every passing minute, the situation got more intense. Tension so high, you could cut it with a knife. The Cat 321BL, weighing over 47,000 pounds, with a 21-foot reach and powered by a 138 horsepower diesel engine, should have been back on track in no time. But instead, things went south, fast. In this video, we break down what really happened. We'll go deep into the mechanical missteps, the human errors, and the environmental challenges that led to this catastrophic failure. More importantly, in the final segment, we'll extract valuable lessons that could save you thousands of dollars and countless hours, whether you're operating heavy machinery or managing a recovery. Strap in, grab a coffee. This is gonna be wild. Let's roll the footage. Let's take a break from the towering skylines and high-speed highways of America. Today, we're traveling halfway across the globe to a world completely different. The remote highlands of North Sumatra, Indonesia, where lush green rice paddies hug the edges of misty ravines, and life moves at the pace of the earth itself. In one of those quiet, fog-covered villages, nestled deep in the jungle and far from any paved road, a man named Widodo begins his morning like any other. It's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping, water trickles down the stream, and Widodo is working on a routine dredging job, cleaning out a muddy pond that feeds into a small creek where villagers plant rice along the banks. He's driving an old Caterpillar 312BL excavator, a 29,000-pound machine with a 21-foot digging reach and powered by an 84 horsepower diesel engine. From the outside, it's worn. Scratched paint, faded decals, some rust around the undercarriage. But in this part of the world, that's normal. Out here, new equipment is a dream few can afford. Machines like this are often bought secondhand, imported from developed countries where they've already seen thousands of hours of work. Local traders patch them up. New hydraulic lines, cleaned injectors, maybe a fresh coat of yellow paint, and resell them to hard-working operators like Widodo. It's a gamble. If the rebuild was good, the machine can run for years and pay for itself quickly. But if not, one wrong move in the mud could mean disaster. And that's exactly where today's story begins. As Widodo digs steadily along the edge of the stream, focused on the layers of silt, he doesn't notice the ground beneath the tracks slowly giving way. The pond is deeper than it looks, and underneath the surface is a thick swamp of ancient clay and waterlogged roots. By the time he realizes something's wrong, it's too late. The Cat 312BL is sinking. The front track is already submerged. The rear starts to tilt. The machine groans, not from the engine, but from the earth pulling it downward. Widodo's heart races. He tries to reverse. He lifts the boom, shifts the stick, pushes with the blade. But it only makes things worse. In a matter of minutes, what began as a peaceful job in paradise turns into a muddy trap that threatens to swallow the machine whole. Widodo slams the control levers into neutral. The Cat 312BL groans as it settles deeper into the muck. He knows if he waits any longer, the machine will sink to the point of no return. He grabs his old flip phone hands covered in mud, and dials the only person he trusts in moments like this. Rizwan, a fellow excavator operator, working just 2 miles away. The phone rings once, twice, then clicks. Widodo, panicked. Bro, it's bad. I'm stuck. The 312BL is going under. Front track's gone. I need help, now. Rizwan, calm. Where? Widodo. Pond site, edge of the east rice field, by the lower creek. Rizwan. I'm 3 clicks out. Give me 15. Don't move that machine. Widodo. Copy. Please hurry. No more questions. No wasted words. Rizwan knows the terrain, and he knows time is everything in a mud trap like this. He fires up his own machine, a Caterpillar 312B, standard model. It's slightly smaller than Widodo's long arm version. Weighs about 27,500 pounds, has a 19.7-foot digging reach, and runs on the same 84 horsepower diesel engine, but with a smaller bucket, around 0.66 cubic yards compared to the 0.76 cubic yards on Widodo's 312BL. His machine isn't flashy. The seat's torn, the AC hasn't worked in years, and the swing motor leaks a little. But it's tight, reliable, and quick on its feet. Rizwan climbs into the cab, locks in the swing brake, and tracks out toward the rescue. Blade up and boom low, cutting through the gravel and brush like he's done it 100 times. Because out here, you don't call a tow truck, you call another operator. After battling nearly 2 miles of rough jungle terrain, Rizwan breaks through the brush and arrives at the scene. What he sees stops him cold. Widodo's Cat 312BL is buried up to its belly in swamp. Both tracks are completely submerged, and the murky brown water has now crept up to the cab's lower door frame. Every second counts now. If water floods the cab, the electronics, and Widodo's only shot at self-recovery, could be ruined. Rizwan doesn't hesitate. He swings his 312B around, aligns upstream, and drops the boom. With smooth, experienced motions, he begins building a temporary mud levee, scooping and packing earth to block the creek's flow. It's quick, dirty, and exactly what's needed. Meanwhile, Widodo isn't just standing around. He's brought in 2 local villagers with a gas-powered 3-inch water pump, rated approximately 200 gallons per minute. And as they work to drain the pit, as Rizwan carefully builds the upstream berm, calculating each scoop to redirect the water with precision, Widodo loses patience. The stress, the mud, the creeping fear of failure, it all catches up to him. Without a word, he climbs back into his Cat 312BL, slams the door, and fires up the engine. He throws the boom forward, swings the arm, slams the tracks into reverse, again and again, trying to claw his way out of the pit. But the machine isn't having it. The excavator jerks and groans like a wild animal, its 84 horsepower diesel engine roaring at full throttle. The sound pierces the peaceful valley, a scream of metal and frustration echoing across the rice fields. The more he fights, the worse it gets. The tracks are too deep. The suction from the mud is relentless. And worst of all, the engine starts to overheat. Widodo pauses for a moment, hops down to check under the side panel. Steam rises. The temperature gauge is near red line. He wipes his forehead, breathes heavily, and then, against all logic, climbs back into the cab and hits the throttle again. At that moment, Widodo stops being an operator and becomes a man ruled by panic. The Cat 312BL lurches again, this time slower, weaker, like a dying beast trapped in a bog. The cabin shakes, the hydraulics moan, the exhaust spits black smoke. It's a critical mistake, one he'll look back on with deep regret. Because in this battle, patience could have been his greatest tool. Instead, emotion took over. And the machine? It's paying the price. Rizwan returns. Widodo's Cat 312BL is completely stuck. Both tracks buried, engine dead, cab silent. Worse yet, the machine rests at the bottom of a 6-foot clay embankment. There's no way to drive straight down. Rizwan doesn't speak, he just acts. Rizwan doesn't wait. He positions his Cat 312B at the edge of the clay embankment, where the ground is dry and compact. Below him, Widodo's 312BL lies stuck deep in the mud. One side buried, the cab half submerged. No shouting, no signals. Rizwan lowers the boom and starts carving into the solid earth at the top of the slope. With each bucket, he scoops out firm clay and throws it aside, gradually cutting a narrow path down toward the pit. The slope is steep. The ground shifts under the weight of his tracks. But Rizwan keeps digging. Rizwan studies the slope. The mound in front of Widodo's 312BL is just too high. Even if they manage to pull, there's no way the sunken machine can climb that vertical face. So he makes a new decision. He swings his Cat 312B to the edge and starts cutting into the firm clay, slicing away the top of the embankment, bucket by bucket. Each load is dumped off to the side, away from the ramp, reducing the height and reshaping the approach. He's tearing down. Little by little, the steep rise becomes a gentler slope. Still rough, still risky, but maybe climbable once the pulling starts. He moved to scoop up the remaining liquid mud and dump it elsewhere, but there was so much mud that he could only scoop up a portion. Now here's the big question for you. Do you think this Cat 312BL can actually be rescued? Take a good look at the terrain. That steep slope, the thick mud, the soft clay underneath. Do you believe Rizwan is doing the right thing by digging and reshaping the ground first? Or would you have done it differently? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you would handle a recovery like this. Personally, I don't think this recovery is as difficult as it looks. The spot where Widodo's Cat 312BL is stuck, and the path Rizwan is building, it's all resting on solid, compact clay. That's a huge advantage. Now imagine if this was a soft, swampy area. Would Rizwan even be able to work around it safely? He might have gotten stuck, just like Widodo. But thanks to the firm ground, Rizwan's 312B, weighing around 27,500 pounds, stays planted. That solid base will let him dig with confidence, and when it's time to pull, the bucket will have traction and leverage, which makes all the difference. Same goes for Widodo's 312BL. Once that track touches firm ground again, with just the right angle, there's a real chance it'll claw its way out, under its own power or with a little help. So yes, I see a clear path out of this. Let's keep watching and see how Rizwan handles the next step. Oh man, what was Widodo thinking? Instead of holding steady and waiting for support, he started forcing the Cat 312BL to move, revving the engine, jerking the controls, trying to claw his way out. That's not problem solving, that's panic. Every time those tracks spun in place, the 29,000-pound excavator sank deeper into the clay, turning a bad situation into something even worse. It's basic physics. The more you churn wet clay, the more suction you create underneath. And once the undercarriage goes under, rescue becomes 10 times harder. Widodo didn't just bury the machine. He buried the chances of an easy recovery. That one move, it may have cost them hours, or even the entire rescue. Wait, what is he doing? He's actually using the bucket of his Cat 312B, hooking it directly into the track of the sunken 312BL and trying to pull it out, using raw hydraulic force. That's not precision, that's desperation. These machines weigh over 29,000 pounds. Excavator tracks aren't built to take side loads or twisting force from the bucket. This kind of move risks popping the track off, bending roller guides, or even damaging the final drive. Buckets are meant for digging, not for grabbing onto a machine's drive system. There was a better way. Linking the buckets boom to boom and pulling straight could have delivered power, control, and less damage. But what we're seeing here, it's a shortcut, and it's one bad move away from disaster. At this point, I have to ask, why didn't he build a berm to stop the mud from flowing back in? That should have been the first thing done. Block the reverse flow, protect the pit, and buy time. Now he's wasting energy scooping mud that just keeps coming back. He's reacting, not planning. The entire rescue felt improvised, working on instinct rather than following a step-by-step recovery process. Look at the bottom of 312BL. It's much deeper than the path Rizwan had created. The ground beneath Rizwan's 312B would have to be much lower to allow 312BL to escape. So what's the big deal? All that clay he dug up? That material could easily have been used to build retaining walls, divert the flow, and maintain traction. Shallower slope, harder ground, less resistance, higher chance of success. But instead, we're watching a machine fight a landslide that should have been manageable. And now, he's doing it again. Instead of stopping to reassess, he doubles down on the same bad idea, trying to pull the 312BL without using a proper bucket-to-bucket hookup. Why? Why not just use both booms and lock the buckets together? It's a classic recovery method. It aligns the force, it stabilizes both machines, and it reduces stress on the tracks and hydraulic arms. But no, he's back at it, digging, pushing, twisting, doing everything except what actually works. At this point, it's not a lack of tools, it's a lack of thinking. He started doing stupid things again. Honestly, this is the moment they should have hit the brakes. Not just the machines, but themselves. They needed a pause, a chance to step back, assess the situation, talk through the risks, and map out a strategy. Instead, they kept pushing. Harder. Longer. And that's when everything starts to go downhill. Not just in planning, but mechanically. The excavators had been working for hours. And when you push a hydraulic system too long without rest, the hydraulic oil overheats. When that happens, the viscosity drops, the fluid thins out, and that leads to a serious loss of hydraulic pressure, meaning the boom, stick, and even the travel motors start to feel sluggish and weak. It's not that the machine is broken, it's overheated and underperforming. Every skilled operator should know this. Working smart includes knowing when to stop. Sometimes, the best move is to let the iron cool so you can come back stronger, with your mind and your machine both ready to win. Oh no. Oh my God. They're still doing it. They're still forcing it. Still pulling the Cat 312BL like it's made of steel cables instead of tracks and rollers. And now, the tracks had enough. That's it. It's done. Even though the machine had managed to crawl forward a decent distance, they pushed too far. Now it's not just stuck. It's crippled. Track derailment on a 29,000-pound machine, like the Cat 312BL. That's not a quick fix. That's hours of labor, possibly needing new rollers, realignment, or even a recovery crane if things get worse. And all of this because they wouldn't stop. At first glance, it looks like they did it. The Cat 312BL is out of the pit, no longer buried, no longer drowning in clay. But then you look closer. The track is toast, mangled, bent, completely detached from the undercarriage. Yes, they got it out of the mud, but at what cost? They've turned a recovery into a rebuild. What could have been a strategic pull, executed with patience and teamwork, has become a case study in what not to do. Two reckless operators, one shattered track, and a machine that now sits broken, just a few feet away from freedom. So close, but they pushed too far. Rizwan's cat, 312B, has backed away, defeated. There's nothing more it can do. But down in the mud, Widodo's 312BL is still moving. Broken, battered, but still trying. The left track is gone, thrown off, mangled beyond repair. Only one track remains. And yet, the machine thrashes forward, dragging itself across the soaked clay like a wounded beast. It's no longer a rescue, it's a last stand. One track drive, full throttle, like a soldier crawling across the battlefield with one leg missing. You want to respect the effort, but all you can feel is the weight of tragedy. Even with one track gone, Widodo refuses to stop. He tries everything, pushing, swinging, twisting the boom, dragging the 312BL across the clay, 1 inch at a time. At this point, you don't know whether to admire him or be afraid for him. Is this persistence or pure rage? Is he fighting with the heart of a man who won't give up? Or is he just burning through the last of his machine and himself because there's nothing left to lose? Sometimes the line between bravery and self-destruction is thinner than a worn track pin. And maybe, just maybe, this was the moment he should have stopped. In the end, he made it. Widodo finally dragged the cat, 312BL, out of that cursed pit, a place that had buried him, both literally and mentally, for the better part of a day. But now that it's over, you have to ask, what did he really walk away with? The track is destroyed, rollers are bent, hydraulic seals likely blown. And in Indonesia, parts like these aren't stocked around the corner. They're imported, expensive, rare, and slow to arrive. Even worse, he'll need to hire a mechanic from the city, someone willing to travel hundreds of kilometers through jungle roads just to deliver the parts and perform the repairs. All of this means one thing: debt. A lot of it. The machine he bought 3 years ago, already under a heavy bank loan, now needs another round of financing just to be usable again. He escaped the mud. But now, he's buried in something deeper. A financial pit that may take him years of hard labor to climb out of. The price of one mistake is sometimes more than just steel and diesel. Now we're going to break down the reasons behind the failure of the Kate 312BL, and the key lessons to help you avoid making the same mistakes in the field. Main causes of failure. No planning from the start. They jumped into action without assessing terrain, water flow, or recovery angles. No berm built. They let mud flow back in, creating a cycle of rework and wasted effort. Overworking the machine, the cat. 312BL was pushed for hours, causing hydraulic oil overheating and power loss. Wrong pulling method. Rizwan used the bucket to pull directly on the track, leading to track misalignment and damage. Ignoring stress signs. Even when the machine struggled, they kept pushing instead of stopping to reassess. Lack of mechanical rest. No cool-down periods meant weak hydraulic pressure and sluggish movement. Improvisation over coordination. No teamwork, no strategy, just instinctive reactions. Practical lessons. Plan before action. Check the site, angles, water movement, and machine condition. Build a berm first. Control the mud, or it controls you. Don't ignore hydraulic heat. Hot oil equals low pressure equals weak machine. Never pull from a weak point. Use center frame or boom-to-boom pulls when possible. Work as a team. Two operators must think together, not pull in different directions. Know when to stop. Sometimes one pause can save days of damage and thousands of dollars. Widodo eventually escaped the mud, but left behind a broken track, a wrecked undercarriage, and a mountain of repair costs in a remote village where every part must be imported. Let this be a reminder. Fixing a machine is expensive, but fixing a bad decision costs even more. If you found this story valuable, if it taught you something, or simply made you think twice about how you operate in the field, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another real-life breakdown, recovery, or lesson learned the hard way. This channel is built for those who live, work, and battle with machines, and want to get better every step of the way.